Hey guys, this is section 5.5, completing the square. How do we solve quadratic equations by using completing the square would be your essential question. Okay. Going down through here, obviously you could read these notes on your own. So what I'm going to do is kind of go towards the future. This is useful when you get to pre-calc, as you can see down here with graphing of circles. Completing the square is a skill that you're going to have to use for that. Yeah, definitely be doing this in pre-calc. So let's get you started here, perfect squares. There you can see your notes. I'll make note of it when you come over here, obviously. So let's just go ahead and take it one. All right. What you want to do when you do completing the squares, you want to get the a and the b term taken care of by themselves. Remember, this is ax squared plus bx plus c. We want to get the c to the other side and get ax squared plus bx by themselves. That's your first order of business. Leave a space after your b term. Okay? Now, so first thing, get a and b by themselves. Okay? Step 2, make a equal to 1. Since x squared has 1 in front of it, a is already 1. If it wasn't 1, we'd have to divide it out of there to the other side. Okay? Step 3. What we're going to do to figure out what c is, we're going to take b, divide by 2, and then we're going to square. So in this case, we're going to take 6. We're going to do 6 divided by 2, and then square it, which is 9. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. The plus 9 is what we add to both sides. That's where the completing of the square is happening. Because when you go to factor the left side, this is a perfect square. So think about it. If I put x in, I put x in, plus plus would be plus plus. Two numbers that multiply to be 9 and add up to 6. 3 and 3. And this is going to be 9 minus 4, which is 5. So I can write x plus 3 times x plus 3 as x plus 3 to the second, that equals 5. How do we get rid of the square? Go back to the square root. So x plus 3 equals positive negative square root of 5, and then going to subtract 3 over. So x is equal to negative 3 plus minus square root of 5. So there's your two answers, negative 3 plus the square root of 5 and negative 3 minus the square root of 5. Okay, so let's go through these steps again. Right? For number 2. Get a and b by itself. So we're going to get these x's by themselves. So x squared plus 20x equals negative 104. Make sure the x squared has a 1 in front of it. It does. So step 2, we don't have to worry about it. Let's take half of 20 and square that. So 10 squared is equal to a full 100. So that's what we're going to add to both sides. 100 to both sides. Okay. On the left side, leaving the square, this would be x plus 10 squared. This equals negative 4. Okay? If you take the square root of this, that would be x plus 10 equals the square root, positive negative square root of negative 4. We haven't talked about imaginary numbers yet, so please just leave it as the square root of negative 4 at this point. We will be talking about imaginary numbers next week. Okay? So then we will subtract 10 over. So right now, that's how I'd like you to stop. Okay? After next week, we'll be taking that a step farther. Okay, so negative 10 plus the square root of negative 4 and negative 10 minus the square root of negative 4. Which is, basically, this is not a real solution. That's why we'll learn imaginary numbers next. Okay? So there's 1 and 2. Let's go down to 3 and 4. Again, let's get a and b on the same sides. This is x squared. I subtract 2x over, get negative 6x. And 35 can stay right where it is. We're going to take half of 6 then squared. So that's negative 3, which is 9. Negative 3 squared is 9. Add that to both sides. This one's going to be x minus 3 times x minus 3. And this is going to be 44 over. So x minus 3 squared equals 44. Square root x minus 3 equals square root of 4 times 11 is 44, so I can write this as x minus 3 equals positive negative 2 square root of 11. And then I'm going to add my 3 over to allow me to stop here. So positive 3 plus 2 root 11 and positive 3 minus 2 root 11. All right. Going with number 4. Okay? So I'm going to have x squared plus 1.8x equals 1.5. All right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of 1.8 and I'm going to square it. So half of 1.8 is 0.9. And then if I square that, I'm going to have 0.81. So I'm going to add 0.81 to both sides. Okay? So over here I'm going to have x plus 0.9x. Oh, not x, but here. Clear that. Clear that. And this is going to equal 2.31. Okay? And here we go. Square root of that, so I get x plus 0.9 equals square root, positive negative square root of 2.31. And we're basically, we can leave it as this. Or I can open up this calculator and actually give it to you. And in not so rounded answers. Give me a second here, I'll open that up for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I took the privilege of typing this in so you can actually get the decimal answers. Because these are not going to be nice fractions either. There's your, what we would call our positive answer. And here's our negative answer. Notice it didn't tell me to round, so that I'm not going to go ahead and round. This is my negative answer, this is my positive answer. And there's basically 4 broken down. If you leave it in radical form, this is what you'd be looking at. You can obviously see the 2 next to each other. Right, so we're going to continue with 5 and 6. Business as usual. Close this guy up so we have some space. See, we have more to go. So let's start with number 5. Okay, so I'm going to get my x's on one side. I'm actually going to keep my 11 where it is. I'm going to move my x squared over with my 8x. So I'm going to leave my blank here for C. So remember, I want a 1 here. It's already good. I'm going to take half of 8, which is 4. 4 squared is 16. So I'm going to go 16, add it on both sides. It's going to give me 27 over here. And over here, this is going to give me x plus 4 squared. And I factor that. So this is plus or minus 9 times 3. And this is still going to be x plus 4. Right, so we got positive negative 3 square root of 3. X plus 4. I'm going to subtract that over. So it's looking like negative 4 plus 3 root 3 and negative 4 minus 3 root 3. And it didn't tell me to round, so I'm going to leave it as is. That will work just fine. Number 6. Ooh, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to get 3x squared minus 6x by itself. That's equal to negative 12. I am now going to divide everything by 3. Finally, a problem where a was not 1. So I need to make it 1. Right, so that's going to give me x squared minus 2x equals negative 4. Now, going through this, what's half of 2? Well, half of 2 is 1. And then I'm going to square that. So that's going to be positive 1 on both sides. This will be x minus 1 squared equals negative 3. So this is going to be an imaginary number because I'm now at the point where I take the square root. X minus 1 equals the square root of negative 3 plus or minus. I add 1 over. again where I want you to stop. You don't know how to break down a negative number. We're not into imaginary numbers yet. So this is not a real solution again, which is fine. Okay, just leave it as that. 1 plus or minus the square root of negative. Okay, 7 and 8. So this is going to be, hey, so A and B are already by themselves. Now I need to make A 1. Now when I write this, I'm going to leave a little bit of space between the B term and the equal sign. Okay, so let's take half of 6, which is 3, and then I square that, which is 9. Add 9 to both sides. This is x minus 3 squared equals 2. X minus 3 equals positive negative square root of 2. So, add 3 over, 3 plus or minus the square root of 2, and you can stop right there. Here we go again. I'm going to get the A and B terms by themselves, move 300 over, and now I'm going to make my A 1. Please let 6 divide everything, right? This is 1x squared, 6 and 1, 24, 14. This would go into 50. That wasn't too bad. It went into evenly to everything. So, all right, B term. Let's take half of 14 and square it. So we're adding 49 to both sides. That's fun. And then you'll see why here in a second. So x plus 7 squared, that's this perfect square. And this one's going to be negative 1. So it's just barely an imaginary number. But you're going to take the square root of this guy. It's plus 7 equals positive negative square root of negative 1. Please just leave it like that. I'm going to move 7 over. Okay. And I might write that again so it's more clear. Right? That's kind of squishy. So negative 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 1. Again, this is not a real solution. Okay? Not a real number. All right. Last two. Just going to make it in here in time. All right. So 3x squared minus 36x equals negative 150. Now we got to get the A term to be 1. So 1x squared minus 12x equals negative 50. Half of 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. And another imaginary number. So x minus 6 squared equals negative 14. Take the square root of this. So x minus 6 equals plus or minus negative root of 14. Can't break down the square root of 14. 4 and 9 don't divide it. So we're just pretty much going to leave this as a non-real solution at the bottom. 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 14. So, okay, not a real number, or not a real solution. Okay, and here's the one from Hades, which is me trying to make it as tough as I can. I'm going to get all my x's on this left side here, on this side, and I'm going to move all my numbers over here. So I'm going to subtract 5x squared over, it gives me negative 2x squared minus 26x. I'm going to subtract 2 over here to get negative 1. Need to make this a positive 1, so I'm going to divide it by negative 2, which means I need to divide every one by negative 2. So we now have positive x squared plus 13x blank equals a positive half. Half of 13, that's nice, 6.5. I'm going to leave it as a fraction, so this is 169 over 4. Fractions are your friends. You see why here. Okay, so I add 169 over 4 to both sides. This guy is now simple. This is x plus 13 over 2 squared. Over here, this is 2/4 plus 169 over 4. Okay, so here we go again. X plus 13 over 2 squared equals 171 over 4. I'm going to square root that.